Okay, thank you. So, dear ladies, so I'd like you to introduce yourself first and tell us, in your experience, how success to digital scientific knowledge affects women's ability to take part and progress in science, where you are coming from. So we can start with Nasra.
Thank you. Thank you, Tandi. My name is Nasra Gathoni, and I was introduced. I'm a health sciences librarian. Now, yes, I can actually hear myself. So. I'm a health sciences librarian and a senior instructor at Aga Khan University, based in Nairobi, Kenya, and co-chair of the Research4Life Equity Committee. And to your question on digital access, yes, indeed. I would say that, yes, there is a positive impact in terms of having digital access to information. And I think that the 2 or 3 areas I would like to look at is, most importantly, is when we talk of access, it's actually bridging the knowledge gap. And I think that is very important, especially when it comes to women. And the other aspect is when we talk about digital access, we think about flexibility. And when we think of the role of a woman in society, all that having to juggle all those roles that is expected of a woman. So the flexibility of having access in the digital format is very, very important for the woman. But besides just looking at it in terms of convenience, I see digital access to knowledge, or rather information, as a catalyst for equity and the voice of the woman, and most importantly, opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Miriam, if you can, just comparing the findings from Alessio and the situation in Ghana, what did you think has really enabled women to have access, to increase their share of publications, when you compare Alessio's findings and what is happening in Ghana, when we talk about access to scientific knowledge?
Okay, so from Ghana, I think that his findings really show what's happening on the ground. It's quite difficult for women to make impact, especially in terms of the scientific careers, and having access to digital knowledge has impacted us positively. It's been able to make women, especially for us in Africa, I know it applies to many African countries, where we have traditional rules and where women are encouraged to stay onto those rules. Access to the scientific knowledge, or digital scientific knowledge, has made it possible for us to continue to pursue our careers and also balance it well with our traditional rules as being wives and mothers. We are able to still pursue our careers in the sciences. For instance, I'm a typical example. I was able to be a worker, to be a mother, a wife, and still pursue my PhD because I had access to digital knowledge from where I was. And so it is very important that for us women, having access to digital knowledge is not just about also knowing what's going on, but it is really very important for us because it enables us to go out of the usual challenges that we are facing to still pursue the things that we want to, which under other circumstances would have been limited. So it's really giving us in Ghana a great opportunity to pursue our careers, to pursue education, and also still balance and not having to choose between being the traditional woman and also being a career woman. So it's a great opportunity for us to continue to have access to digital knowledge in Ghana.
Okay, thank you. So let's hear the experience from Congo, DRC, on how digital scientific knowledge has enabled women to take part in science.
Thank you very much. Yes, as Dr. Tandi said, my name is Bintu Ndusha from Democratic Republic of Congo. I'm a lecturer at Université Evangélique in Afrique and Research4Life Action. Yeah. So, in the case of Congo, the access to digital scientific knowledge is very, very important than what you can imagine. In particular, in the context of ours, of political conflicts. So, the repetitive wars has led to the destructions of libraries, and most of the times the printed materials that are in our libraries are not updated due to lack of funding. And in this context, we have another background that women are restricted due to family responsibility, but also restriction of movement during wars. In this context, the digital access remains I can say the only one option for women to make advancement in science. Yeah, this is the case of Congo.
Yes, thank you. So we have seen findings from Alessio where women who had access to Research4Life, they're able to increase their share in terms of articles and also collaboration. So what do you think are the key structural and cultural barriers that continue to hold these women back in science and research? And how, what are you doing in your institution to ensure that you are addressing those challenges? If we can start with Nasra.
Thank you for that question. Before we talk about the barriers, I think I want to acknowledge that there's been progress here, because I know that, I mean, the graph clearly showed that the progress is there. So maybe for me, I would look at the narrative in terms, maybe change it a little bit and say that as much as we are saying that there's underrepresentation, which yes is a reality, there's underrepresentation, but maybe I would say, instead of saying why so few, I would say why so slow. Because when you look at the progress, you find it's really, I mean, we are much better off where we are today than where we were in the yesteryears. But the question is, the progression is still, I think, an area of concern. And like they've talked about, there are all these barriers that we experience as women, both structural and cultural. So when it comes to the structural, it's like the gender bias, the stereotyping, I think I read the report and I like the issue of is it leakage, the leakage effect, and the statistics are there. That what is the progression of the women, like from the undergraduates into the postgraduate and so forth and so on. And I've read a number of reports, studies. I think there was the World Forum report and the gender gap, in fact the gender gap report of 2025, and the numbers are there. But even the stories on the ground are still talking the same thing. So I know it's evidence-based, we need to see the numbers, but the reality on the ground brings all these stories into context. And mentorship, I feel that the main thing that is a problem in the structure is the lack of role models. And as they say, as the adage goes, seeing is believing. And if I can tie, I like that quote of practice. I think it's what we see that we will practice. So I think we need to see more women in science, even from a young child. What you see, you will practice. And so that we don't have that mindset that it is not possible. So if I can tie seeing is believing and the practice, I think that puts into context. In terms of cultural, there are many. I think we would need the whole afternoon or morning if we are talking about, I call them retrogressive practices that are still so entrenched in our communities. I'll just pick two, so that I believe they will either say the same or similar. We have early marriages, and not just early marriages, we have forced marriages of the girl child. And of course that will disrupt that you know, like progression into research or science. And if I can just give a story, because I think if you hear the story of what is happening, you realize that the problem is still there. But all said and done, we appreciate that there are efforts within, like in Kenya. The good news is a lot of, I mean, in fact, not a lot, all of these practices have been outlawed by the government. But the question is the actual implementation or making sure that it doesn't happen. As recent as 3 months ago, I mean, it just breaks my heart when I saw that particular story of a 17-year-old girl who was killed because of a forced marriage to a 55-year-old. It was all over the news. You might have heard it even in East Africa. So she was 17-year-old, dropped out of school to marry a 55, and because she refused, so what happened? She was killed by the community. I mean, those are the kind of stories that we are still hearing today. And there's the FGM. I mean, you would wonder, in this modern day, is there still FGM? It affects the child, the girl child, in terms of her self-esteem. Some of them can't even go to school. And why, as much as the government having this outlawed, it is considered a rite of passage. So you find that there's the government and the systems, but within the family, your own parent will make sure that you go through this rite of passage so that you fit within the community. Even the simple things like you may not be able to get into the next passage, like get married as a woman, if you didn't get into that rite of passage. So why am I giving this story? Let's talk the numbers, but if you hear the reality of what is happening on the ground, to me, we still have a problem in terms of the girl child. What are we doing? Again, I acknowledge the government and all the laws that have been put into place. How it is being affected, I think that's a story. It's a story for another day. I don't want to turn this into a political sort of argument. We are all on the different political divides. As Aga Khan University, there's a program known as SWIS, an abbreviation which stands for, what does it, supporting women in science. So it's led by the Aga Khan University in collaboration with institutions in the UK and Canada, you know, for collaboration and fellowships and for early career women in research. And then lastly, as an institution at the basic level of education, where the girl child needs to be nurtured from at that level. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for such experience from Kenya. So can we now go to Ghana? You're welcome, Miriam.
Yeah, so Nazareth, what you've said is, I think it cuts across in many African countries, and we have such similar challenges in Ghana as well. So many of these structural and cultural barriers are really affecting us negatively as women. And for us in Ghana, I would want to dwell more on the limited institutional support that women have, the unfavorable workplace policies that they put in place, where it's difficult for women to thrive fully as career people and also as women doing their natural thing of being pregnant and having children and nurturing these children. There are no policies specifically to ensure that women are well catered for at the workplace. Having access to higher education is quite a challenge because, you know, women naturally at home are expected to do a lot more things than the boys will do. And so it affects even the outcome when we go to school. Does not mean we can't do it, but the opportunities are lower for us women. And the fact that we are underrepresented in terms of leadership. But currently, I mean, there are positives that are coming out of it. The government is making a lot of effort. Just last year, they passed the affirmative action bill, where institutions and organizations are expected to be conscious when they are taking or they are putting together policies and they are taking decisions. They have to look at the gender aspect of it. Many institutions now have gender directorates or offices which are ensuring that these institutions are taking decisions or are making policies that have the gender equality in mind when they are putting up those things. Then we have financial inclusion initiatives in our various institutions and other organizations, leadership development programs that are trying to mentor women and young ladies into encouraging them to want to take up leadership positions and all of that. When it comes to higher education, many of the universities, even though it's not a formalized policy, they put in place measures to ensure that they take many more women into the university. Like I was saying, at the high level, senior high school level, many of the women, even though they perform well, are unable to meet the cutoff points for the STEM programs, the science, technology, engineering, and mathematical programs. So many of the institutions now have in place some quotas. You must have a certain percentage of women intake to certain programs. And so they are forced to beat down a little on the intake the qualification rates. So for instance, if the cutoff point is grade 7, a woman with a 9 would be given the same opportunity as the boy to ensure that we increase the intake of women in our institutions. And I think what is left is for us to ensure that it is a formalized policy that will ensure that many of these institutions take in many more women using this quota system, using the grade cut down process, and also access courses. Some of the universities put in place access courses. So for instance, you want to read medicine and you did not meet the cutoff point, you are given a 6 months admission to pursue a program that will upgrade you. When you pass it, then you are taken into the system. So these are some of the things that we are doing structurally in Ghana to ensure some equity in admission levels. When it comes to the cultural barriers, it's about similar, like I was saying. We also have these cultural norms and societal expectations of the girl child, where you are expected right from the onset, they are teaching you how to become a good wife and a good mother. And so they push you into careers that are very limiting. Oh, just go to the teacher training college. You know, you are a woman. You need time to have babies quickly, and you need a job that to allow you to be a good wife and a good mother. So it pushes us into wanting to do other courses that are not too demanding. But now there are many more programs that are ongoing to at least create that awareness among parents, among the girl child, to keep pushing for parents not to stop their girl children from pursuing certain programs because the intention is for her to get married. There are so many success stories where women have been able to juggle the two. They have successfully done some of these science programs, and they are still successfully married. They have children. So these are some of the challenges that we face in Ghana. But the good news is there is so much conscious effort being made by the government, being made by other institutions and programs to ensure that we push forward the women agenda, and we ensure that the girl child is given some opportunity to be able to pursue their careers.
Okay, thank you very much, Miriam. Let's hear from Bintu, 2 minutes.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Yes, for Congo, I will be very specific to my institution and the neighbors institution. And for structural barriers that continue to hinder women, I would say the gender imbalance in leadership position, but also the access to funding. Yeah, in talking about gender imbalance, I can say that despite ongoing sensitization campaigns around gender imbalance. In our institution, we still have, I can say, very serious imbalance in terms of representations of women. And I can give the example of my institution. For example, out of 53 professors in my institution, we are only 13 women. And for the neighbor institutions called Official University of Bukavu, out of 92 professors, we only have 3 women. You can imagine how the gender imbalance is. And talking about unequal access to funding, I can say that this affects both men and women, but at least men, they have some advantages due to they have some inheritance rights. They can access to inheritance and women cannot. But there is also some legal privileges that men have compared to women. And talking about cultural barriers, I would say that the traditional social expectation around family roles that continue to limit women. So women are expected to do everything in the house, and this really limits their participation in science and the flexibility and to engage in the research activity. How are we addressing those barriers? At the individual levels first. As women in institutions, concerning the gender imbalance, we are having some program that aim to help girls in the institution to get involved in the academics. What do we do during, for example, the Women's Day? We take advantage of those days to do sensitization. We talk to women, to ladies, to girls, so that they can pursue their study. What also we do, we identified women, ladies with high academic performance, and we encourage them to pursue and finish. And we also advocate so that they can be taken to our institution so that we can close that gender balance. But also during because I'm the country connector of Research4Life, during my training session, I make sure that I have as much as possible women on board when doing trainings. So that's when I ensure to close that. And at the institution levels, and I can give the example of my institutions, they have implemented a center called Denis Mukwege Center of Excellency. So this center was created to treat the problems related to women representations. And in that center, there are many activities that are being undertaken to encourage the implications of women in science. And what I can say, for example, through that center, they installed I'm a French speaker, I don't know if I will explain it more. The creche, the creche is where women, they can have kids, and then they come and leave the babies so that they can leave the babies and they continue working without problem. Yeah, concerning those barriers, it's what I can mention.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bintu. So our last question, I would like each one of you to just share a very successful initiative or program that has worked in terms of empowering women researchers or students in your community, and what made it work and what can others learn from it. Just let's spend 1 minute each. Just share any successful initiative or program that worked in terms of empowering women, researchers or students in your community.
Okay. I think for me, I look at it from education. So in terms of within Kenya is coming up with a law that provided free education to children, I mean, in totality. And why do I say this is successful? is because I believe even the issue of women in science, to me, it's a journey. And if we don't start from the basic, it means that this journey ends even before it starts. However, the enforcement is still a problem, and what we need to look at is the enforcement of this particular law and ensure at least 100% access of education to the girl child.
Thank you, Nasra. Miriam, you're welcome.
Yeah, so in Ghana, there's this project that is very dear to my heart because of how it is being rolled out and how it is impacting. It's called Women's Economic Empowerment Research Project, and it's funded by Hewlett Foundation. It emphasizes on research, policy, engagement, network building among women's rights organizations, policymakers, and female leaders in business and finance. And what makes this really successful is because of how they encourage strong collaboration, because they bring together researchers and policymakers and advocates to create solutions that will positively impact women's economic empowerment. They influence policy, they engage with policymakers and to ensure that gender-responsive policies are being developed and implemented. It also builds the capacity of women in terms of strengthening their skills in research and in networking, equipping them to be able to advocate and also to communicate effectively wherever they find themselves. It also has this intergenerational and multidisciplinary approach where you have experts in women experts or professionals in the sciences who are mentoring younger women in their areas, and this ensures that they share their experiences. And one very interesting thing about it is it graduates. So you are being mentored, and the next moment you become a mentor to someone else too. So it keeps going on and on. So you have the senior professor, you have somebody under, and it becomes more like a loop. So it keeps going on and on. And I believe that some of the lessons that some other projects can be learning from is the fact that they dwell on the partnership of other organizations around them. They ensure that there's collaboration between academia and government, civil society. They come together to take the decisions. And once all of these are involved, they develop policies that affect everyone else. And so if they are able to ensure that policies are gender sensitive, then it means that it's going to lead to progression. Then they have the policy engagement, which is very crucial, ensuring that all policies being developed in various organizations and institutions are formulated with the gender at the back of their minds, and also empowering networks. And this they do by ensuring that they encourage innovation among women researchers, and they encourage them to keep helping each other, and so it becomes more like a network. And I think this is a very good project that is sustainable, especially the way it's being run, and it's something that I think we can all learn from, because the impact is very positive and it is sustainable based on how it is rolled out.
Okay, thank you. Let's hear from Bintu.
Yes, for us it's a similar program to Ghana. So it is a mentorship program implemented by that center, the Mission Center of Excellency, Denis Mukwege. So through this center, we had a mentorship program. Through that program, early career scientists from undeveloped countries were connected to scientists to the developed country. For example, in our case, we are connected to the lecturers and the scientists of Bonn University. And that program, through that program, the mentorship program, we conducted many activities. For example, we were trained by those advanced researchers on how to communicate, on the research ethic, on so many things, and that really helped many women. And through that program, we did some visiting program where the researcher from our institution could go and visit the institutions to the developed country, and that was a success that really boosts even the publication in my institution. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you all for such insightful contribution. It's clear that the future of research or science depends on how we support women in developing countries through access, through policies, through different experiences that you have shared, and through local leadership. So everyone, please join me to thanking them, all the panelists.